Hello friends, this is Bhavatosh here. Welcome to my channel Perfect Analyst. Today we are going to learn one important concept in Power BI, and this is very important because this will be asked in many interview. The interviewer will ask what is the difference between calculated columns and measures and when it is being used in Power BI. So I would request all of you to understand this concept so that you can able to answer this properly. So let me begin. So here comes the difference. So if you read it now, you will not be able to understand. So what I will do is first I will show you the demonstration and then I will come again to the same PPT slides. Then you will be understand what is the actual difference between a calculated columns and measures. So now you just note it down and we'll come again to the same PPT at the end of the video. So in Power BI, sometimes what happens is when you are doing any problem statements, it is required to know some extra parameters which is not available in your Excel sheet, and you have to calculate separately. So you have to create a separate columns. That's what you are creating calculated columns, and sometimes you may not create a separate columns, but yes, the calculation will be used or some parameters will be used on the real time. So that's why you are creating measures. So let me import an Excel sheet and show you how it is different. So what is the difference between these two and when you are using this in your project? So first step, I will import an Excel. So as usual, my Excel sheet superstore where you have the sales and profit information and lot of products, the commercial of any superstore. So I'm just importing this Excel, selecting one sheet out of all the sheets. The moment you click on the load options, the Excel sheet will be loaded in your Power BI report. And on the right hand side, you can able to see all the columns from the Excel sheet. Now you can see here it's loading, it's working on it. Yes, now it comes. The sheet, all the columns is visible. Now what I am doing is to make you understand, I am going to the data view first. In data view, you can able to create new columns or new measures. First thing I am creating a new columns. This is called calculated columns. In this Excel sheet, you have product related sales and profit information for each product based on their subcategory, category, based on their product ID, belongs to which region. All the information is here. Right hand side you have sales, quantity, discount and profit. Now I am going to create another column called, suppose I want to know the total profit for all the products. So I am creating another column. So to create a new calculated columns, you have to click on new columns. Now the new columns is created. You have to give the column headings. I want total profit equal to sum of order profit. So this is total profit columns, and in this column you have row wise information. For each row you have the total profit. So when you are creating a calculated columns, it means that you are creating a separate column and it is taking some space within your data view, within your Power BI data view report. So this is calculated columns. Now comes to the measures. So now let me explain what is measures. For measures, you have to click over here your sheet and there is a option new measure. So total profit equal to sum of profit. Now this is created. Now look at the difference between these two. In calculated columns, when you have created a separated column is created at the last, whereas in new measure, when you are creating a measure, there is no separate column. You can only see on the right hand side. So it is a real time data. So this measure will be calculated on real time, which will not take any space in your data view or Power BI report. So that is the difference between these two. Let me tell you the another difference between these two. I am just clicking over here. I'm going to model view. Sorry, I'm going to report view. I'm selecting this profit. So the moment you select, it will show you on y-axis. Now this is calculated columns, okay, and this is for measure. Look at the difference now is if you click over into profit, in y-axis it is showing sum of two profit, and if you click over here, there is a option for filtering option, like you can filter based on the sum of the data, average, minimum, maximum, count. So you can able to filter, but same thing it cannot be applied for measure. I'm going to check for the measure, and if you see click over here, there is no filter option. Can you check this one? Yes, there is no filter option. So that is another difference between these calculated columns and measure. I'm just repeating, calculated columns creating a separate space in your data view report, and you can able to see the physical appearance on the report, whereas measures you are not able to see in your data view, but it is created on real time and that can be seen on the right hand side. First difference. Second difference is calculated columns can be filtered. So you can filter this based on the summation or the average or count, whereas measure you cannot able to filter. Now you may questions how to use or when to use these calculated columns and measures. At what time you are going to use calculated columns and what time you are going to use measure. So to make you understand, what I am going to do is I am just creating on cards. So this is, remember, this is calculated columns to profit. Here it is showing 2.86 billion sum of profit. And now if you creating now I'm creating another card. Now I'm creating another card, and I'm same thing applying for measures. So here you can make a difference. See, here it is in billion, but this is also a billion, but this is 2.86, and there is a another point 4 is coming. But the calculation both are should be same, right? But why there is difference between these two? Because if you go to the data view, calculated columns is created for each row. So for each row, it is calculated this total profit. So now when you are adding all this and dividing by the number of 9994 rows, there are some decimal points you can see 0.0217, right? Some decimal points even after that. So that's why the number is decreasing little bit in calculated columns. So this is for calculated columns, right? This is for major. But when it's a major, it is just taking from total product, total profit. It's taking from here. So it is exactly, it is adding everything and giving the results. So this is the actual result when you are adding all the profits here. So now you can ask when you are using these calculated columns and when you are using the measures. Remember, when you want row level context, when you want to know the row level summation, you can use calculated columns. For example, for each row, if you want to calculate separately, here for each product you are calculating separately, right? Here for each product, at that time you are using calculated columns. But when you are taking a aggregate function of any particular columns like profit, here you are adding all the profit and making a total profit. In that case, the aggregate function of that particular columns will be considered. In that case, you can use measures. So that is another difference. So I hope I am able to make you understand between the calculated columns and measures. If you have any questions, please give the comments and I will be happy to answer. So this is how I explain you the difference between the calculated columns and measures. Okay. Now I'll come back and show you my presentation which I show in the beginning. Now you can able to make the difference between these two. So calculated column can be seen on the data view as a new column, whereas measures cannot be seen as a new columns, but it can be seen on the field view. Calculated columns is pre-calculated, whereas measure is the real-time data. So that's the difference. Guys, I hope you're able to understand. So thank you so much for watching this video. I will come with some other chart or any other concept in my next video. Thank you. Bye.